Welcome to Conflict News 24. On daily basis, we share updates with you on global conflicts. Firstly, Russia-Ukraine conflict, where on Monday, Russian drones, Iran-supplied kamikaze drones attacked Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Several were killed and injured in Monday's drone strikes near Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Secondly, Iran has denied supplying drones to Russia. Today, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson spoke about the claims that Iranian drones are being used by Russian forces. Thirdly, EU has imposed sanctions on 11 Iranian individuals who are heads of some agencies, some institutions. Who are they? And lastly, Armenia says that Azerbaijan is attributing its ceasefire violations to Armenia, and it is creating a pretext for another military aggression against Armenia. Firstly, viewers, on Monday, Russia hit Kyiv, Ukrainian capital, with drones. Iran supplied kamikaze drones, flew over Kyiv, Ukrainian capital. Drone strikes were conducted. 4 casualties are being confirmed by Ukrainian local officials. 4 were killed. Several were injured. Some apartment buildings were hit. Ukraine says civilian targets were hit, civilian residential areas were hit. There was no military target, and Russia is trying to terrorize the people of the capital city of Ukraine. Iranian kamikaze drones in operation. Iran denies, by the way. Iran today in a statement denied having supplied drones, kamikaze drones to Russia. Nasir Kanani is Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson. And today in a statement, he denied that Iran supplied drones to Russia, though everyone knows remnants, debris of the munitions of the drones, kamikaze Shahid 136 drones have been recovered in Ukraine in several locations. Videos are there. As I said earlier, on Monday, these kamikaze drones flew all over Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. You can see the picture. The picture is from today's incident when these kamikaze Iranian drones conducted strikes on Ukrainian capital. So Iran will never admit, though evidence is there from Iran, dozens of cargo flights by an airline have been recorded to Russia. The airline is known for supplying weapons to Iran-backed factions in Syria and Yemen. But officially, obviously, Iran will never acknowledge, it will never admit that it is supplying weapons to Russia. And yesterday we reported that Iran had agreed to supply its Zulfagar and Fateh ballistic missiles to Russia. It seems that Russia and Ukraine both have changed their way of conducting strikes. Russia is hitting all over Ukraine now. It's not just conducting airstrikes in the areas where there is fighting ongoing or close to front lines. Now, Iranian drones being used by Russia are conducting strikes in central and western parts of Ukraine too, hundreds of kilometers away from front lines. Ukraine is doing the same. Ukraine is hitting Russian assets dozens of kilometers behind front lines. Belgorod airport of Russia, mainland Russia, was hit 2 days ago in missile strikes from Ukraine. It means the war is spreading. On front lines, intensity of fighting is decreasing a little. But behind front lines, drone strikes, missile strikes are being conducted by both these parties. Secondly, viewers, the EU has imposed more sanctions on Iran. Iran is under sanctions for years. EU, US, they impose sanctions on Iran over Iranian nuclear program and other issues. So for years, Iran has been under sanctions. And all sectors of Iranian economy have been sanctioned. They have been put under sanctions. Iranian banks, Iranian companies, Iranian military, Iranian airline, Iranian government officials, all are under sanctions. EU on Monday finalized more sanctions on 11 Iranian individuals. These 11 Iranians are heading some institutions which were involved in the death of Mahsa Amini, Iranian 22-year-old girl who was killed last month in police custody. She was arrested by morality police of Iran over improper dressing, and then she died in police custody. And after that, we saw start of massive demonstrations across Iran, still ongoing. Iranian women are discarding, abandoning their scarves, and they are sharing pictures, videos from squares, from markets where they are being seen without headscarves. So protests underway. Crackdown is also underway against protesters. Dozens have been killed in the crackdown. Government is trying to control these protests. EU, US, obviously, they want to back, they're backing these protests, though they have limited opportunities to back the demonstrations because obviously they have limited access to Iran. Iranian government cut off internet in several areas, and some social media websites were banned as well. So EU has now imposed sanctions on Iranian individuals like the head of the department, morality police, which arrested Mahsa Amini. He has been sanctioned. Its Tehran head, its national head, both have been put under sanctions. Then Basji is a paramilitary force part of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. The chief of Basji has also been put under sanctions, and Iranian information and technology minister is also included in the sanction list. His name is included because internet was cut off in Iran, internet was suspended. The purpose was to launch and intensify crackdown on protests. So some individuals put under sanctions. Sanctions are like visa restrictions, asset freezes, which won't hurt Iran a lot because I don't think that these Iranian individuals would be having assets in EU countries or they would be interested in traveling to EU countries. So overall, these are sanctions against individuals because institutions are already under sanctions, Iranian institutions. Despite ongoing crackdown on protesters, protests are still ongoing in Iran. An Iranian athlete, Elnaz Rikabi, was seen competing in climbing competition in Seoul, South Korea, without headscarf. So a brave move from an Iranian athlete that she disobeyed. She went against the official policy of Iran that Iranian athletes always, female athletes, cover their heads when they participate in international competitions. But Elnaz Rikabi was seen competing at the event without headscarf. We have a video for you showing the Iranian athlete competing without headscarf. Watch this video, then next news story.
전합니다. 이란의 엘라지 레캅입니다. 레카비 선수가 볼더에서 77점을 얻으면서 레카비 선수 아까 볼더 끝나고 잠깐 쉬는 시간에 본인이 못 풀었던 볼더 문제 아쉬워서 혼자 나와서 다시 다음 아시안 게임 또 올림픽에서도
Lastly, because Armenia today accused Azerbaijan of violating ceasefire and attributing ceasefire violations to Armenia. Armenia says that Azerbaijan is planning another military aggression against Armenia, and it is creating a pretext by committing ceasefire violations and blaming Armenia for the violations. Armenia is demanding the deployment of EU's observers on Azerbaijan-Armenia border. The two countries fought a war in 2020, 44-day-long war. Russia mediated a ceasefire. Then last month, again, there was fighting in which more than 200 soldiers on both sides were killed. The two countries have been involved in a dispute over Nagorno-Karabakh and other border issues. Border has not been properly demarcated, and EU is trying to mediate now. EU, US have replaced Russia. They are now trying to mediate between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and a few days ago some meetings were held in a European country with participation of Armenia, Azerbaijan and Turkey. An EU observer mission is trying to demarcate the border. Observer mission has been deployed to the border areas, but still Armenia wants more international observers deployments in the border areas. Can EU observers and monitors demarcate the border, or will they just keep on observing border situation? That remains to be seen. Another issue is still to be resolved between the two countries, and that is Azerbaijan's access to an exclave. Nakhchivan, Azerbaijani exclave, shares border with Armenia and Turkey. Azerbaijan does not share border with Nakhchivan, but Azerbaijan, Armenia agreed in 2020 ceasefire agreement that Azerbaijan will have access to Nakhchivan through Armenia. So far, the modalities have not been agreed about the route, land route, which Azerbaijan will be given by Armenia through its territory to reach Nakhchivan. Armenia says that it has written letters to Azerbaijan about 3 checkpoints due to be established on Azerbaijan-Armenia border for facilitating access to Azerbaijan to its exclave Nakhchivan on Turkey-Nakhchivan border. But Azerbaijan is not responding. So it means that this issue is also unresolved. Azerbaijan wants land access to Nakhchivan through Armenia. Armenia agreed to this land access, ground access in 2020 agreement, but so far progress has not been made. Border not demarcated, access to Nakhchivan through Armenia still it's pending, and some other issues as well. Thank you for watching.